Academic staff at universities across the country are striking today in a row over changes to their pensions. Lecturers say the cuts could leave them up to £10,000 a year worse off in their retirement. The strike is expected to last for 2 weeks, meaning students would lose out on thousands of hours of teaching time. While Ashok Kumar, as lecturer at Birkbeck University, met the bargaining unit 35 times, they say, in the last year. It's not that they haven't been trying to reach an agreement. Well, they've been trying to reach an agreement, but they're shifting our pension scheme from, one that they have some responsibility and liability for to us having the entirety of the liability. So let me put it this way. Let's say I see myself as a pretty healthy guy. Let's say I live till 85. It's an aspirational goal. That's 25 years in retirement. That's about £250,000 that I would lose. That's 40% of my pensions. That's not reasonable. That's not something that we can agree to. That's not something my union could agree to. And that's why we're on strike. And that's why you're seeing, 90% of lecturers on strike. I don't know a single lecturer who isn't on strike. I mean, if you're not on strike right now, if you're a lecturer who's not on strike right now, it'd be quite weird. It'd be quite self-loathing or some kind of weird Stockholm syndrome. I think most lecturers are on strike. Most universities are shut down. And I think that's a positive thing. I think that we're making a stand. In terms of what you will get in your pension, obviously, as you say, not as much as you would have hoped. But am I right that my understanding is that the university employers' contribution is 18%. Now, most people in the private sector would be thrilled for anything like that. Most people get around 3%, don't they? If your employer's putting an 18% on top of your contributions, that's not a bad deal, is it? No, I mean, I think you have to understand that most university lecturers, including myself, when we finished our PhDs, we had offers at various consultancies, for example. We could have made twice as much money as we're making now. The reason why we went into academia is because we really enjoy teaching. We love teaching. We love research. And we also have the security of knowing that when we finish, we'll have some stability in retirement. Now they're taking that away. It'll fundamentally change the entire composition of who becomes a lecturer, what their motivations are, and the kind of education we'll have at universities. But am I right in that point, that it is around 18% that the universities are putting into the pot for your pensions already? No, it has to be analysed in its totality. We have not as big a salary, so that when we have retirement, that we have some security. You cannot compare like for like with the private sector. We're not making nearly as much money as people are making in the private sector, and we're not a private sector institution. Most public sector institutions have better pensions because we don't get paid as much as the private sector. So the comparison is kind of an absurd comparison, frankly. OK. The university's pension scheme has a deficit of £6 billion at the moment. Where do you think that money should come from? As I've just said, you have universities who are making larger surpluses than they ever have. Students are paying more money than they ever have. Employees are getting paid less than they ever have. And universities are now buying up more buildings. Effectively, they've become sort of real estate tycoons, these universities. And that's not the priority of universities. That's where it'll come from. There's no enormous surpluses. It can be reinvested into teaching and learning, not into buying up more buildings and expanding at the pace that they've expanded. And just to be clear, will you go back to work if this is not sorted out, or will you stay on strike? Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, I'm just a member of the union, but the plan is that, we're going to stay on strike, and if they don't at least meet reasonable demands, then we'll continue into the summer. OK. Ashok Kumar, lecturer in international political economy at Birkbeck, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.